Hello, fellow book-loving friends. My name is Dee Armstrong. Thank you for joining me for Spill the Tea Book Chat. I'm a writer, book lover, teaholic, gardening ninja, black belt, and my grandma name is Lolly. Say hello in the chat so that I can enter you in the drawing and that I know that someone out there is listening. I'm excited to say that I am spilling on my own book, Visions of Emerald, and I can't see myself, so I'm hoping that I'm doing this Vanna correctly. I'm at the hotel that inspired the novel, the Omni Hotel and Spa in Hot Springs, Virginia, and I would like to thank Mrs. Swan for making it possible for me to chat with you today. We are on the south balcony overlooking the great hall, which I call the grand lobby in the novel, and I'm joined by my daughter, Lindsay.
I'm Lindsay. I'm her youngest daughter. I am a captain in the U.S. Army.
And Lindsay, I'm going to share. My kids hate it when I do this too, because I share a little too much. But Lindsay is, if you know JD in the book, some of the things Lacey says are JD. And so some of the things that JD says is Lindsay. So Lindsay is my JD. Both my girls are tough as all get out, don't get me wrong. But Lindsay says these great things that I tend to steal and put in the book. Let's see. Let's talk about Visions of Emerald.
We have 2 comments.
We have 2 comments. Oh, she's keeping me on target. Oh, thank you, Lacey. Oh, hey, Angel. So good to see you. And Ryan. That's so funny.
Joining us from within the homestead.
Yes, he's in room blah, 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 blah. Visions of Emerald is book 1 of the Mystery of the Gems trilogy. And I have to tell you, I wish that I just would have called it the Twin Springs Trilogy, because that's what I keep saying. But it's the Mystery of the 3 Gems. And I think that one of the reasons that I didn't call it the Twin Springs Trilogy was because I actually want to write more books that happen here at Twin Springs. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do a follow-on trilogy that has, I'm going to say some characters I haven't introduced yet, that has Maddie, Jackson's little brother, Marco from the Kitchens, and the two runaway children, Colton and I can't think
Diana?
of Diana. Thank you.
Diana.
In it. So, and I would like that one to be the mystery. If you noticed in Sleepwalking with Ruby, they found little notes in the tunnel where Ruby died. And that was notes left by people trying to find themselves with the Underground Railroad in the the Civil War days. And so the tunnels under Twin Springs in the Civil War days were used for the Underground Railroad, and that was how they would find their family in the free North. And I want to do something on how Logan's family is cursed. If you notice, I put in that the Oakton family is cursed, where there's 2 boys born every generation and one of those boys die. Well, I'm spilling too much on that book that isn't even written yet, but it has to do with that. So I really want to write 3 more, and that's why I did not call it the Twin Springs Trilogy. I wanted the Mystery of the 3 Gems, and then the next one was going to be the Mystery of, I am not sure yet. But let me read to you all about Visions of Emerald. This is from the back copy of Visions of Emerald. I'm going to read it so I don't say it incorrectly. It's 1928. A fire blazed through Twin Springs Hotel and killed General Rockwell's 3 daughters, Emerald, Ruby, and Amethyst. How they really died has remained a secret until now. Nearly 100 years later, Isabelle Fairbanks is haunted by a reoccurring dream where she drowns. She returns home to Twin Springs to mourn her father and finds Theo Beaumont, the man who broke her heart, is now running her family's hotel. Isabelle sets aside her hope of becoming a chef to battle Theo for ownership of the hotel. Her hotel, except the nightmares of her drowning plunge her back in time to 1928, and Isabella discovers that ghosts are real. After a string of bizarre accidents that sabotage the hotel success, a 100-year-old secret emerges, and frightening Isabella into thinking her night terrors might be real. She must race to discover who is sabotaging the hotel before she follows in Emerald's footsteps and dies the same watery death. Now, Theo Beaumont, he returned to Twin Springs intent on helping out a family friend. Instead, he finds out that his parents actually owned half of Twin Springs. He didn't think memories of his parents dying in a car crash outside Twin Springs would rip his soul to shreds, and he sure as hell didn't think seeing Isabella would turn his heart inside out. When they uncover some old diaries, Theo realizes Isabella is in danger, and he'll do everything in his power to keep her safe, even if it means believing in ghosts.
So, Mama, why did you write this novel?
Well, we were very lucky to come to Twin Springs one time. To the Homestead one time as a family. And when I stayed at the Homestead, it felt like I was transported back in time. And I don't know if you've seen the movie. There's this movie, and my mom would remember the name of it. She'd remember all the name of the characters, but there's this movie of this guy who goes back in time, and I know everyone knows the movie. He goes back in time, and he falls in love with a woman, and he finds in his pocket a coin dated with, the time that he's from, and he's transported back, and he dies in the hotel room trying to will himself back in time. So that was in the back of my head, and then I found out there'd been a fire at the hotel, and that started my mind churning. I just want to say hi to Leah, all the way from Home Sweet Home in Colorado, and hi to Dewana from Centera Hospital. She's working and taking a little break to tune in, just a little break. But once I found out there had been a fire in the hotel, my mind started churning, and I thought, what if? And a lot of books or novels start with that question, what if? What if something happened back in 1928 that had an impact on the characters of today and their lives in today's world? And in each one of my novels, Visions of Emerald, I'm going to do a little Vanna moment, Visions of Emerald, Sleepwalking with Ruby, and Haunted by Amethyst, there are parallel storylines. In Visions of Emerald, the present day story is mystery and love with Isabella and Theo. And the one and then there's another one in 1928 with Emma, and Emma is the nickname of Emerald, and Jean-Claude. And you know that Emma and Jean-Claude's love story ends in tragedy, because otherwise the whole premise of the book would fall apart. But it's kind of like when you see one of those accidents on the road, and you shouldn't slow down to look at it because your child's in a traffic jam behind you, but just want to see what's happening. Is everyone okay? And then you slow down, and yes, it is the one with Christopher Reeve. Thank you, Deanna. That is the one. Sorry. And you slow down and you see that accident, and you just got to look. You can't look away. Well, that's the way it is in my books. You know that they're not going to find true love. You know that their love ends in a tragedy back in 1928. But you get I hope the reader gets so heart connected to them that they're still hoping that there's hope, or wishing that there's hope.
Definitely.
I also wanted to show the differences and similarities between the two time periods. I wanted to show the barriers for an interracial couple back in the 1920s and in 2020. Plus, I wanted to show the barriers for women between the two time periods. Barriers, with everything from where they could work, what was expected of them, their lack of freedoms. I wanted to show how far we have come, but yet how far we haven't come. And I didn't want to be overbearing on the reader with these two threads going through the novels. I wanted them to get it and feel it and think, I've had this happen to me, I can relate to that, but I didn't want it to be something that sucked them down. But my stay at the Omni Homestead made such an impact on me that I had a passion deep inside here that I had to write these character stories and finish these books. I had to tell their stories. If you've read the book, put in the chat who was your favorite character. What did Ryan say?
He thought that Emma and Jean-Claude had a secret child, and that was the family connection. And he was...
Oh, he hasn't read the other two books. Oh, so we won't spill to him. We're going to go through a few of the characters. First, Isabella. Isabelle finds out that her father has passed and she's come home to Twin Springs, and she wants so badly to prove herself and save Twin Springs because she knows that the Oakton, the community around Twin Springs, if Twin Springs dies, the Grand Dam dies, which is what I call the hotel, then the community dies. What did you think of Isabella?
I loved Dizzy Izzy and her development. She was such a lively character, and she just had such doubt in her heart, and her growing was just such a great thing to see of her. The doubt that she had and the insecurities, and by the end she felt brave Bella instead of Dizzy Izzy, and that was a great line that she ended up down.
Oh,
for
thank
me.
you, Lacey. I love it. Now, Theo. Theo is the love interest of Isabella. When his parents died, he finds himself responsible not only for his parents' business, but also his 16-year-old sister. And he ends up being the dad of the group, the responsible one of the group. What did you think of Theo?
I thought he was great. He wanted to keep this facade up of being so professional, but he loved Izzy so much that it was just pulling him in different directions, and he found a way to manage both and have everything and develop his younger sister and be good to her and then be good to the woman he loves, and I thought it was really great.
He almost spoiled Maddie too much.
A little bit.
Maddie definitely knew how to wind her brother around her finger, and he let her get away with a little bit too much, so that I think that was a growing time for her, which leads us into Maddie. Love her or hate her, she plays a major role in each book.
Yes. Maddie. Oh, Maddie. Jacqueline. Maddie. She's great. You love to hate her. Everybody's got that little somebody in their life where you're just like, I should beat you. I really should.
But I love you anyways.
But I love you. And she was great. Such a fun character. And at the beginning, you really disliked her. And then as you go through the book, you realize why she does certain things and how she just needs to grow up a bit. And you end up loving her more and more, and you want to protect her kind of thing, bring her into the story. She was great.
With the loss of her mom, I think Maddie was really trying to find out who she was. You know, that's why she's like, I'm Jacqueline, because she wanted to connect to the only strong woman she knew at the time, which was her mother. And then in each book, she kind of clings to the other main character, trying to take something that they're good at and make it her own. But Maddie, I loved how Maddie just had such an imagination and could see a space and go, this is what we should do with it. She's someone you want on your team if the world ends, because she'll figure it out. Now, Ava, Broadway star Ava. Now, she's the main character in the second book, but because all three books are intertwined and everything is connected, she's in this book too. And Ava is a woman that every woman wants to be. She's beautiful, she's sensual, she's talented. What did you think of Ava?
I love Ava, but I don't want to spoil too much, but I love Ava.
Yeah.
She's great, and later on, you'll love Ava even more. Definitely.
I do love Ava. She's stronger than she thinks. Now, Logan. God, I love Logan. Ex-Special Forces, on a mission. He was burned down one side of his body. He's the beast to JD's beauty, or is JD the beast to his beauty? I don't know, because JD is a little bit of a beast. She's a little bit of a tough gal. But I did love Logan. What do you think of Logan?
I do love Logan, and at this stage in the trilogy, you have him so hurt and so recovering, hiding in the woods, only coming out at night, and you really feel with him, and you want him to heal, and you know he's never going to get fully better physically, but you just want his mind and his soul to get better, and you want everyone to bring them into their heart so that he can get better. and eventually you'll see what happens with Logan, but
Yeah, he's
It's-
pretty stinky in the beginning because he just has given up on life. He wants to live in the shadows, and so he is kind of a Beauty and the Beast. He's the beast that lives in the woods. Niles. It's so hard to talk about only one book with the trilogy when they're interlaced. Niles is a character that I wanted the reader to know about but not care about until it was too late. And at the end, I wanted the reader to understand why Niles did what he did. But he killed and hurt a lot of people. And I know my other daughter is saying, no, he was bad. You're not allowed to have sympathy for him, which really, you shouldn't. But when you see how, I hope, I don't know, I hope no one is ever truly born evil. And Niles had things happen to him as a child that he just didn't cope with. What did you think of Niles?
I wasn't terribly attached to Niles. He was kind of a shadow character. You wanted him to be good because he was part of the Friends, and you never thought that he would be bad because, I mean, Logan grew up and was friends with them, and Niles was too. They both had similar relationships to the Twin Springs, and then they just went different directions. And so it's just, darn.
I don't know if you realize it, and I don't know how blatant I wrote it, but Niles actually killed Isabella's mother. He pushed her down the stairs.
I think that's in a later book.
Oh, sorry. Oops, I spilled a little too much. Sorry. Okay, so Leah says Theo's sister is the character you liked the most. Yes. Maddie was just so spoiled in the beginning, but I'll tell you at the end, she just said things. She came to understand that she was only 16 and it was okay to be only 16. She didn't have to be someone she wasn't. So yes, I do love Maddie too. But
Ryan
she was a
likes
troublemaker. Dale. Oh, Ryan likes Dale.
Ryan likes Dale.
Dale is actually Logan's father, and he works in the maintenance department at Twin Springs. And I named him after my father. Dale is really my father.
Yeah.
Now, Emma is too naive.
Emma was too naive. It's okay. Emma, she loved Jean-Claude so much, and she just thought they could have their happily ever after. But Jean-Claude, he knew that he loved her, and he loved her enough to let her go. But he knew that loving her would hurt her and kill him.
Yeah.
So Emma was just, she wasn't grown up enough to walk away, and her naivety brought down Jean-Claude. It was the end of him.
I think I gotta cool down a little. And Lacey and I talked about this earlier. The part where Emma was behind the door and the lieutenant was breaking down the door, trying to get to her, and you knew that Jean-Claude was protecting her and taking a beating for her on the other side of the door. That was just heart-wrenching. I felt, I as a writer, usually when the writer's upset, the reader's upset. If not, then I've done something majorly wrong.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ryan said what? I don't know what he's saying what to. Let's see. What was your favorite part in the book?
Ooh,
Put it in the chat, you guys. What was your favorite part?
that's really hard. It's hard to have a favorite part. There's the Cinderella part where she gets to
Heel to toe.
Yeah, the Cinderella part, but I like a lot the getting ready part for the Cinderella part. Having that sisterly moment
Oh yeah.
of, hey, I'm going to sit you in this chair and I'm going to make you up. Because, I remember getting ready for prom and you doing my makeup
and hair.
fixing my hair and tweezing my eyebrows. Like
Yeah.
And the beauty is pain.
That's a mantra in my house. Beauty is pain.
And so having that, it was a really great moment. It makes me think of my sisters and that kind of thing.
Definitely. I liked any part in the book that made me laugh. And Maddie, I know that people thought she was spoiled, but Maddie made me laugh. She really did. Some of the things she did just made me laugh. And we talked about it earlier when we videotaped around the hotel, the different parts. When Maddie wants to turn the general's room into a bar
Oh my
and name
goodness.
it Jacqueline, and she's like, and you call it Jacqueline in pink neon lights, and I'm just like, oh my God, Maddie, really? She just made me laugh. Listeners, please put in what's your favorite part. And I want to know, did you know who the bad guy was from the very beginning?
I am kind of a cheater, so I was a little bit more involved in the
Oh,
writer
that's
process.
true. That's not
because-
fair. It's not fair for me to ask you that because I would ask the kids. The kids read the chapters after I read them, and I would brainstorm with them if I didn't know what to do.
So I did have kind of an edge on it. Oh, Ryan's favorite part was the Red Butcher.
Oh, the Red Butcher.
The Red Butcher was pretty great.
Yeah.
He was a great character. I thought,
I'd love to do a story with the Red Butcher.
yeah, I thought he was pretty wonderful. So that was, it was hard for me because I did have those cheater things in the back of my mind, but I don't know. I was really sure.
Now, the Red Butcher, remember that Isabella wants to be an executive chef. And the Red Butcher is a food critic. And they call him the Red Butcher because if he does not like it, he will massacre you online and in print. So he had red hair, right?
Yes, he was.
And so they called him the Red Butcher. But he was great. Cowboy boots, but yet,
Yeah, cowboy chic.
Cowboy chic, that's what it was.
Love it.
Deanna says, I liked every time they found a secret room or a passageway. Me too.
I love it. And being here at the homestead, every time you turn a corner, you're like, I wonder if that could be. What's really behind this wall?
I know.
I'm sure there's some kind of something with things this old. Oh my goodness.
The homestead is truly a magical hotel. And if you guys have a chance, come stay at it because it is truly a magical hotel. Let me go ahead and spill a little bit more. I love the homestead so much that I have their little teacups. They have their signature teacups with flowers around them. And that's what I have my tea on every day. And I really didn't enjoy tea very much till I came to the homestead. And I took tea in their great hall at 3 o'clock. And they, pre-COVID, they would come around and serve you, or you could line up. You had a choice. And it was so special. It made you feel like you were in a different era where Southern manners were prevalent, and it was just it's a great hotel.
Really magical place.
What part made your heart race?
So I had two, and they were mirroring parts. It was when Emma and when Bella were going down the stairs. So the back in time, her running down the stairs, her being thrown before Emma dies, and that was just you know she's gonna die, and you're like, this is the end, but you want her to find her way out. You want her not to get caught by the lieutenant, and you're just like, go, you can make it. And then on the flip side, you had Isabella, and you're like, okay, maybe you can make it. Maybe you can stop the curse. You can just keep going. And her having her fighting back, and her knowing, I'm not going to be the one who's taken down. I know she was, but she's not me. I am better than this, and I will fight.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I loved that.
No, I'm so glad because I love strong, powerful women, and I feel that I raised very strong, powerful women. And so I think that's a really important thing to be in today's world. Hello, Sue. I'm so glad you could join us. Hey, lady. All right. We are down to the end. Everyone whose name was in the chat, what we do is we have this little twirler thing that I put your names in. It's an electronic one. And one day I'm going to figure out how to do that in the chat so I can split screen it, but I am not there yet. But you will get to choose which book you want signed from me, and I will send it to you. If you already have all 3 of my books signed, then when my next book comes out, which will probably be, this is my mock cover. This is the rough cover. This is not the true cover. We haven't decided on a cover, but this is the cover that I use as I'm writing the book, JD and the Broken Promise. I can even make sure you get an advance copy of that signed. So it's whatever you want. I would like to thank Lacey for coming today. It's so nice. I don't get to see her very often because she is in the military, so it's really nice to have her be here. And I appreciate every single one of you and taking time out of your day to spend time with me during Spill the Tea. Our next Spill the Tea is August 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we are spilling on Coming Home by Maryann Jordan. Okay, Maryann Jordan is a USA Today best-selling author and a girlfriend of mine. So I emailed Maryann because she just moved, and I said, can I use one of your books? And this is the beginning of a series that she wrote, and I think it has something like 19 books in it. Yeah. So if you are an avid reader, this is a great series to start out with. This is the first book in the series, so we'll be starting in that one. And I want you to know that Maryann is not only an awesome writer, but she is an actual true gem. She is someone that helps other writers with absolutely not wanting anything in return. She is a very giving person. And this, of course, is signed by Maryann. So I feel privileged to be able to share with you her book. And I'm looking forward to reading it myself. I've already downloaded it on Audible. And I download it on Audible, and I also do it in my Kindle so that I can pull out the passages that I love the most. But I can listen to it while I'm walking, task management, getting my steps in. But I'd like to thank you for joining me. Usually I'd say, as always, you'll find me riding on the porch, but today you will find me at the Omni Homestead Hotel and Spa, lounging in a chair. Bye, everybody. Great to have you.